In this video, I am going to start some discussion on selecting a research topic and also to discuss something which language will be suitable in future and in day-to-day life. So I'm going to start my first topic, that is to choose your topic for your research. How to choose your topic in research? You have to study so many papers in your literature. Like first you have to choose your area. I will start from the area of computer sciences. Computer science is having so many vast areas, like in computer networks there are so many areas like mobile ad hoc networks, vehicular ad hoc networks, flying ad hoc networks, as well as machine learning, artificial intelligence, so many areas. Also the cyber security. So you have to choose your area first, in which area you want to do your research. Uh, Startly, when you firstly start your research, so you have to study so many areas in that domain, and after that, if your area of interest is computer science, then you have to study so many areas which I have already told you guys. So in that area, if you choose the area that is flying ad hoc networks, so you have to study the connected areas, that this area is emerged from which area. Like I will say that flying ad hoc networks is basically emerged from the area that is mobile ad hoc networks. And in mobile ad hoc networks, the nodes are static, but in the flying ad hoc networks, the nodes are dynamic. So this was the moment that you choose your area in that domain. That my main domain of study is computer science, and after that I have choose the subdomain, that is flying ad hoc networks. Onward, in flying ad hoc networks, if we furtherly elaborate that area will be having so many sub areas. Like so many people wants to work in routing protocols, so many people wants to work in security, so many people wants to make an new algorithm. So there are so many areas to work in on that, and all of this understanding will develop just because when you study thoroughly so many research paper. If I talk about my journey of research, I started my journey of research from about 2015, and in 2015 I was so curious to start my research career. So I used to study so many research papers regarding the area that is relevant to the networking, because in my undergrad studies I had done so many extra trainings and certifications on computer networks. So that was the main reason that I started, that I have to pursue the studies in computer networks or relating to computer networks. So firstly, I studied so many research papers on mobile ad hoc networks and vehicular ad hoc networks. In that was the time in 2015. And firstly, I was not that much aware about the journals, conferences, and even the impact factor journals. So in that days, so many professors, I will not say their names, but they was publishing some sort of papers in Indian journals, and most of the Indian journals, they used to target that time was online, and that online journals was not that much good. Even not even India, but also the American journals, some of them are online. Like online journals are not having very much good stuff. Why? if I say why, because like online journals are not that much good, because most of the people used to do some sort of copy pasting techniques and try to write their papers and then send their papers to that online journals, and after that they just send an email and say to the author that you have to send me the required money, and then we will publish your article. Even even in so many papers you will see so much plagiarism. But that was my start, that I started writing in articles. My first article was on mobile ad hoc networks, and that was a survey paper. And onward, then I used to study so many research articles regarding my area that was connected to the computer networks. I thought that this area is very much easy, but no area is very easy. You have to study, and after study, you can make up your mind, and then you will be having so much information, and due to that information, you can find a research gap, and that research gap is like you can say that research gap will be like your research topic in future. If that research topic is good enough to do your research, if you are doing master's level research, like if you are doing MPhil, so you can also do some sort of comparative analysis. So while I was studying that time my master's in electronics engineering, so I started my research in computer networks. So, so many people have suggested me that you should go to the heuristic computation. So many people said to me that you can mix up the domain of the heuristic computation, evolutionary computing, or like computer networks, because I was I was really excited to work in computer networks. Because I thought that this area is very much easy. So I started doing my research in computer networks, and I selected some of the protocols, because I like to study so many routing protocols, and the routing protocol was so many protocols I have studied, that was like DSR, dynamic source routing, that was if I say about DSDV and TORA, TORA, and onward, I have studied link state routing protocol, distance vector, session routing, and many more. So I choose some of the routing protocols, and I thought that I have to compare these routing protocols with a evolutionary computing algorithm that is called N-colony optimization. And I thought that if I find some gap in between them, so I can easily make a routing protocol in my PhD thesis as well. So I selected some of the routing protocol. The first protocol was session routing protocol, and another one was link state routing protocol, and the next one was distance vector routing protocol. And I compared these three routing protocols with the N-colony optimization. That is basically heuristic computation technique. And I compared these routing protocols with the heuristic computation technique that is called ACU, with some parameters like throughput, delay, bandwidth, like that. And onward, when I completed my simulation results in Network Simulator 2, that was the time that I thought that I can now write my first conference paper. But that time I have already written one paper that was published in IEEE conference in Bahria, University Islamabad. So I thought I have to write a paper for a Springer conference, and most of the Springer conference is very much renowned, and people used to study the papers of a Springer conference and proceedings. So I selected some of the conferences nationwide in my country. So that conference I selected, that was Future 5V conference, that was done that time in Margala Hotel, Islamabad, and I presented my first conference paper from my thesis, and that conference paper was then published in a journal that was Mobile Application Networks, was the journal name of the Springer proceedings. So that was the time that I thought that I can also write another paper from this thesis as well. Firstly, I have compared just the three protocols, and through that three protocols, I have made one of my research paper that is published in a Springer. And onward, when I compared end colony optimization with these three protocols, then that was the second comparison. So I taken that results and then send that results, and properly I have written a paper on that results as well. So then I sent that paper to ACM conference that was going to held in Jordan, and the Jordanian conference sent me acceptance of my paper, and I requested them to that I will present my paper online, and that was a really great achievement for me, that I have written two conference paper from my master's thesis. So that was the time that I completed my master's thesis, and after master's thesis I get enrolled in my PhD, and in PhD I have studied so many courses that was like artificial neural networks, advanced digital communication one, advanced digital signal processing one, and optimization techniques, machine learning techniques, and so many things I have studied. Even one special topic I have studied, that was special topic on information security, another one was special topic on telecommunication. So that time I was a bit confused to start my PhD research, and I firstly thought that I have to start my topic on machine learning, and with the combination of cybersecurity with the machine learning. Firstly, I have studied so many literature, research articles, books, and so many things on that two areas. The one was cybersecurity and another one was machine learning. And then I concluded with a topic, and I discussed with my supervisor, and that time my supervisor said to me that you have to choose your research topic, what you have done in your masters. Like you have to choose your topic regarding your protocols, because you are really much good with your routing protocols. So then I thought that I have to study again these routing protocols, and already I have done a comparative analysis in my master's thesis. So why not I should do my why not I should take that comparison and make a new routing protocol. That time I met my another friend of mine, and he was also doing research in this area, and I discussed so many things with him, and he published some of his papers regarding the flying ad hoc network security, and he suggested me, if you do some sort of work on routing protocols in flying ad hoc networks, that will be a remarkable work, because in flying ad hoc networks the nodes move in a flying mode, and that is the very tough job to make a routing protocol, because basically a protocol is a communication between from one node with another node. Like you can say it's a language, like the way I am talking to you guys through English. So English is now a protocol. So like you can say that protocol is just like a language. So I again selected my one of the heuristic computation technique, that was Ant colony optimization, and I studied that computation again, and I selected one of the variant of Ant colony optimization, that is Ant HawkNet, and then I worked on the Ant HawkNet, and after doing some sort of work on Ant HawkNet, I realized that I should do some sort of work on the energy based parameter of the unmanned air vehicles. So I was doing some sort of hybridization techniques I was using, like I was combining the Ant colony optimization with the OLSR, that is optimized link state routing, and that was a complete failure for me, because in that experimentation I thought that I will get a very good results from that experimentation, but I was wrong. And after that I also experimented with the distance vector as well, and but that was also a failure. And after some experimentation I thought that I should introduce an energy stabilization threshold, and through my simulation results I studied some of the things regarding the energy stabilization threshold and that thing. So I incorporated some of my techniques inside Ant HawkNet, because I was using some of the protocol to make that protocol my baseline protocols. And that time I have studied also some of the mobility models, like some mobility patterns of flying ad hoc networks, like nomadic mobility model, random walk, and like that. There are around about 6 to 7 mobility models in the flying ad hoc networks. So furtherly, when I done some sort of experimentation in the on the mobility model, that was random walk, and I done that experimentation on random walk through my energy stabilization threshold with the hybridization of Ant HawkNet. I positively gained very excellent results through that hybridization, and that was my first algorithm, and that was my first routing protocol as well in the study of the scientific world, and that was my major achievement in making a new routing protocol and new algorithm. So that was the journey of my life, that I started writing papers in online journals and then conferences, and onward some of the reputable journals like FGS and Sustainable Cities of elsewhere, and even I have sent some of my paper to IEEE Access as well. So that was my journey. Moving towards my second question, that was which language is very much good for the students who are studying in undergrad, or if someone is studying in masters, or if someone is studying in PhD. So I will say that in undergrad studies, if you are choosing some of the emerging area, that is IoT, Internet of Things, or machine learning, or something like that. If you want to use machine learning or networks, So my major of interest is computer network, so I will suggest all of you to work on OpNet, OpNet++, or NS2 or NS3. These are the platforms you can work on these things. And but if you are working in undergrad studies, you have to focus some of the languages that are Java. Java is directly relevant, like the baseline for the Android applications. And if you are doing some sort of hardware based project, so you can do your project even in C++ as well, and even in Python, even in Perl scripting. These are the languages that are very much good for the students from undergrad till PhD. Like students can learn from these languages, and they can create so many environments in that languages. Also, MATLAB is also a good simulation tool for the mathematics students, and they can perform so many formulas in that MATLAB as well. So that was all about selecting a research topic to like which language is good for a student. So I have discussed some of the programming languages, and inshallah in the next video I will keenly talk just on programming languages, that which programming languages is better for students. So thank you so much for watching my videos, and keep subscribing, commenting and liking my channel, that is Exploring Life is Fun. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully meet with you in the next video.